blending with watercolour, painting feathers, and lots of other tips that are a must-know for your watercolour journey, all on this lovely sparrow. I was asked in a recent video how I go about the blends, the transitions of colour within the sparrow. So this is what this video is all about. So to cut to the chase, I'm whizzing through the initial layers, but have them all available on a new separate video that goes through the process step by step. If you'd like to see this video, please leave me a comment below and I'll upload it. Thanks very much. Now let's get going. Watch till the end and get a little bonus. So what's happened so far is I have my initial layer in buff titanium. Then when that was dry, I penciled in the broad area where the feathers go without any detail, and this is where we're starting now. We're starting with a mix of raw sienna and burnt sienna and painting in the broad section of feathers along the body, the tail, and starting the head. This is where we have our first blend, as I would like the right hand side of the head to be lighter than the other. So to do this, I now need to wash my brush, tap out the excess water, and then proceed to blend out the colour. Now it's time to let it dry. As the pencil lines were drawn on top of the initial layer, they're easy to rub out, which means it's best not to put all your pencil lines down first. I'm now drawing in the markings on the feathers. The idea is to leave the orange bits orange and only draw the bits that will be dark in colour. Here I'm drawing abstract little shapes into the ball of the wing, this circle that you can see up on the top area. As long as you can see some orange curvy shapes around the darks, you've got it covered. Now we're up to our second tip, where if all these little lines look confusing to you, there's nothing wrong with lightly colouring in the parts that you're going to paint darker. So here I am with my pencil doing just that. And now see, oops, did I do it right or wrong? I think right, after all. Oh well, lucky I could colour it in. A few final markings on the wings, the tail and the head, and we're ready to do some more painting. I'm now making a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and then rolling my brush to a tip. Then on to colouring in all those little dark abstract shapes that we've created. Oh, phew, it's so much easier painting in where you know to go with the coloured in shapes. Yep, this will be easy. We're now on to our second blend. What I'm going to do is wash my brush and then wet the head, mostly on the right hand side. Now I'm laying in some darker colour, which is burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, and then as I approach the wet area, it should spread. If it doesn't, I need to be careful how I combine these two areas of drier paint and wet surface. So I wash my brush, tap it dry, also on my tissue, and then I can gently tease the two colours together. Now see the harsh line there on the throat between the dots? I need to soften that. So by washing my brush, tapping it dry and on my tissue, I can then go over these lines and soften them. After placing a line in the middle of the beak, the darker line, I also need to soften that again, so the same applies. Wash the brush, dry it on a tissue, and then you can blend it out. Let's move on to a larger blend on the bird's back. I'm adding burnt sienna with some ultramarine blue to the bottom part of the back, and then washing my brush, drying it on a tissue, and then blending it out. I'm going to do the same to the belly, especially under the feathers. Now guess what? You got it. What are we going to do? Wash the brush, dry the brush, and then wipe the brush, and then we can blend it out. By now, I'm sure you're sick of me, but maybe you've learned something that can really help your art. I hope you do. If you're happy with what you've learned so far, and there's more to come, hit the subscribe button. I would, because I know there's a lot more to come in future videos of top tips and hints on how to fast track your watercolor journey and not learn everything the hard way. Now I'm highlighting the feet and putting in some toes and claws. We can now deepen the shadow just under the feathers by putting in another dark line. I'm putting in another smaller one just for the shape of the bird, but all we've got to do now again is the same old thing. Wash the brush, dry the brush, and blend it out. I'm now painting the eye with mainly burnt sienna with a touch of ultramarine blue and leaving a little white triangle up the top for the highlight. This needs to dry, and then I can add the darker pupil. I only need to use ultramarine blue on top now, as it'll self-mix to black anyway. I'm adding a little dark border around the eye. I'm strengthening the shadow beneath the ball of the wing with some darker color, and then doing the same thing, washing, drying, and blending. For the next tip, I'll be lightening his forehead or the top of his head and his throat area. I need to wet this with clean water and then run the brush over it a couple of times, and then I can lift with a clean brush again, or I can use a tissue to pat over it. This will also lift the paint. I'm now brushing over the belly area with clean water, and as you can see, it's made the transition much smoother. A few finishing touches, and there's our sparrow. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and especially hope that these tips on blending have helped you. Thank you for watching till the end, and now as a reward, here's a downloadable worksheet that you can download and draw up your own sparrow and see how you go. Wish you luck, and leave something in the comments. Thank you.